Welcome to the Halliwell Manor. I'm Max.
And I'm Tina.
And we are here to discuss Season 6, Episode 22 of Charmed.
Okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Peacock lists the title as It's a Bad, Bad World, Part 1. But it's actually, It's a Bad, 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 Bad World.
Yes, like the movie It's a Mad, 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 Mad World.
Yes, I don't know why Peacock cut out 2 of the bads, but it did for some reason. We're talking about It's a Bad, 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 Bad World Part 1.
Yeah, Season 6 finale.
Yeah?
Wow, we're getting ready to say goodbye to Chris, kind of. I mean,
yeah,
this version of...
oh, yeah, well, there will be a baby Chris.
Yeah, and then Chris comes back from the future, and it kind of seems like he remembers going back to the past, even though he definitely shouldn't, because that's a Chris from... I know Charm doesn't really do different timelines, but it was a Chris from a different timeline.
Like, do you remember the 90s movie Lost in Space?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay, so do you remember how the kid... How Will from the future came to let them know that Dr. Smith was evil?
Yeah. Weirdly enough, the movie Zathura also did that.
Oh, okay. Anyway, though, when he... goes back to his time, and his family's like, no, we're gonna miss you so much, come back, and, like, current time Will is standing right there, and I'm like, he's standing right there! Anyway, that's how I felt in this episode. They're all like, no, Chris, we were just getting to know you. It's like, well, good news. He's also currently inside of Piper's uterus, and you can get to know him there.
This is going to be a really weird situation for baby Chris.
I do actually feel really bad for him because they're going to be bringing all these weird expectations that they had of knowing adult Chris onto this little baby.
Hey, tiny baby, why aren't you randomly murdering women all the time?
Hey, tiny baby, why aren't you sending Leo to hell? I mean, it wasn't hell, it was... You know what I mean.
Yes. Hey, tiny baby, why aren't you sleeping with an evil witch who disguised herself as your aunt?
Nope, too far. Okay, let's talk about the episode.
Hey, I didn't write Charmed. And neither did anyone else, apparently.
Yeah, speaking of not knowing how time travel works...
Yes, the episode opens with Chris critiquing Magic School's time travel section, which, I mean, I guess Chris is one of our more successful time travelers in this show. There's a weird reference later to Leo doing some time traveling, which I guess he technically did.
It's in this scene. It's in this scene because the reason Chris is looking through the time travel section of the Magic School library is because they're trying to figure out how to send him back to the future. And Gideon says to Leo, you of all... Time travel's complicated. You of all people should know that. And I was like, why? Why Leo of all people?
I mean, I guess he put that time travel spell in the Book of Shadows that helped the sisters travel forward in time. It was retconned to explain why they no longer use that spell anymore. I don't know. Like, I guess he went through the time portal with Chris that one time.
Yeah, but so did Chris, and Chris is right there too. Like,
I mean, Piper's here, and everyone assumes that means that she's going into early labor, which no.
Because she has her bag with her.
Yeah, well, she's getting ready. I mean,
yeah, she's gonna bring the bag back to the manor because she's getting ready to leave Magic School now that they think they've fixed the problem of Wyatt turning evil.
Yeah, it was definitely those reality show demons. That was definitely what turned Wyatt evil.
Reality TV.
Yeah.
Chris is worried about Piper going into labor early, and I'm like, don't you know when your birthday is, Chris?
Yeah. So, they're coming up with 2 different ways to send Chris forward in time. Half of the group is working on a special potion, and Gideon's half of the group is writing a magic spell.
This is important, a power of 3 spell.
And Leo's continuing his overprotective dad act, which he started, I'm going to say, last episode. They are kind of shoehorning it in.
It's strange to me because they only have known Chris as an adult. The reason parents are overprotective, even of their adult children, is because they think of them as children because that's how they knew them. They've never known Chris as a child.
See, I'm totally cool with overprotective daddy Leo, but, like, you, as with a lot of stuff in this episode, you should have introduced it earlier in the season. I know they didn't really hammer out. We're assuming. I guess it could have been the plan all along, and it's just bad writing.
I mean, we are assuming, but also you will never make me believe they knew what they were doing at the start.
Yeah. So there's a lot of cool stuff in this episode that really should have been seeded earlier.
I mean, I feel like I'm being generous by saying that Chris is continually changing the timeline, and that's why they keep changing what's happening.
Yeah, but like, if we'd seen Gideon talking to Mirror Gideon at literally any point before,
It would have been so much cooler. Yeah.
Considering how much the series finale relies on there being an alternate evil universe, that's the sort of thing you really should have seeded earlier.
Okay.
But you know what? I really like this episode. It's not good, but it's fun bad.
Yeah.
So
it's silly. It's honestly kind of ridiculous in a way that I got really excited watching. And I'll talk about the scenes that I got really excited about when we get to them.
Yeah.
Piper's being terrible to Paige. Like, she's treating her like a servant. Like, she's mad at her for not having the nursery cleared out. And Paige is like, well, I was working on the potion. And Piper's like, we'll go take care of it now. Or back there and get the nursery set up and get diapers. And I'm like, what is wrong with you, Piper?
Okay, to be fair, Piper's been in magic school for like 3 months, and apparently Paige has done nothing to get the house ready for the baby in that time.
Well, they say later it's because they were worried about Wyatt. They were focused on Wyatt and not getting the house ready.
Okay, they couldn't have taken like a weekend to get the house ready for an incoming baby.
Well, okay, can we talk for a second about what the setup is in this room? In this house, I mean?
Okay.
Okay. When Wyatt was born, there were only 3 bedrooms in the house, and he had to live in a closet.
That's weird, though. There should be 4 bedrooms, right?
Well, there's a nursery now.
Okay. Wait, because Phoebe, Piper, and Prue had their own rooms.
Did they all have their own rooms, and then...
Oh, I thought
or did they share?
I thought they did. I know that Phoebe had her own room. It's entirely possible that Piper and Prue had to share, because we know Grams had her own room. I guess Prue could have just moved into Grams' room after Grams died.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess when Phoebe left, then Piper and Prue would have had their own rooms as adults. I guess there could only be 3 bedrooms in the Charmed House. And as we know, anywhere between 1 and 17 bathrooms.
Well, but we now know there are at least 4 bedrooms, because all 3 sisters have their own room, and there is a nursery. So there are at least 4 bedrooms at this point, but probably just 4, because in the setting up the nursery scene that we're going to get, Paige and Phoebe are talking about how they're going to run out of rooms, and then Phoebe's like, oh, I'll sleep on the couch so that my beautiful new nephews can have rooms. And I'm like, you put them in the same room. What are you talking about? Wyatt and Chris can share a room.
Okay, maybe there was 4 rooms all along.
Well, then who had the 4th room when Wyatt was sleeping in a closet?
Oh, that's a good point.
It's okay. Maybe Chris changed it when he time traveled.
Yeah. Again, explaining the bathroom situation. How many bathrooms does the Halliwell Manor have at any given moment? So Gideon goes off to his study to be evil by himself for a while, and since Sigmund's dead, now he gets to talk to Mirror Gideon.
Yeah, so he has a magic mirror that looks into the evil mirror universe, where he can communicate with evil mirror him.
Who's a lot like regular him, but his hair is slightly slicked back more.
Yeah, like he's a real piece of shit with slick back hair.
Oh, and also he and his evil self play chess together, because evil.
They have a chessboard that's halfway through the mirror, so that, yeah.
You know, it's kind of weird how much we cut from that to the credits, and it's kind of weird how much Kit is in the credits, considering she hasn't been in the show for, 2 seasons, 3 seasons at this point.
Yeah, and also we never see her again, right?
Yeah, no. Like, we had the episode where it turned out she turned into a lady, and then we never see her again.
Yeah,
so.
We're done with her now. We have a super long establishing shot of San Francisco, which we sometimes get, but I wrote in my notes, I'm like, if you don't have enough plot for 2 episodes, maybe just do 1 episode instead of doing a super long intro.
Yeah, but how else would they show off their cool slow down and speed up motion editing? Because there is a lot of that in this. Again, I repeat the thing I've said the past, I think, 3 episodes, where I think someone got After Effects. Because there's a whole, like...
There's a circle wipe. What are we doing? This is like...
Star wipe! Star wipe! Star wipe!
This is a professional television show. What is happening?
Okay, you know what's happening? Phoebe is being the worst
Phoebe's
person
a monster!
ever.
And the show is playing this like she's in the right.
Yeah. So, Phoebe has driven back home to get the house set up for the baby, and she parks her car in front of this lady's parking spot.
She parks her car blocking her neighbor into her driveway, and the neighbor has like a giant dumpster outside because she's doing renovation. We see like construction workers and stuff, so she's got like a dumpster in front of her house, and Phoebe's like, well, I didn't have anywhere to park, so I blocked you in.
And the thing is, we can see in the wide shot how much open space there is everywhere around here. And if you were going to block someone in, why wouldn't you block in Paige? If you're going to park in front of someone's driveway, why not the driveway that your sister is currently using in front of your house?
There's not an instance where it's okay to block someone you don't know into their house. That's just driving 101.
And, like, the lady called the patrol officer who gives Phoebe a ticket, and Phoebe's like, fuck you, I'm clearly in the right here. I've got a car full of baby stuff.
Right, didn't you know that my sister is pregnant? That means rules don't apply to me.
There is an empty space across the street. Ignoring the whole she could just park in front of Paige's car, there are so many empty spaces in view.
Also, the woman is like, this is against our HOA. It's like, yeah, and the law. It doesn't matter that it's an HOA. You can't do that. I mean, this is before the term Karen was a thing, but obviously we're supposed to think that this woman is an unreasonable Karen. But Phoebe is 100% in the wrong here. There is no debate about it.
So she brings all of the stuff inside, leaving her car parked in front of that woman's parking driveway.
Yeah.
She's like, I just need to drop some baby stuff off. I'll be right back. And it's like, oh my God.
And then she gets into a conversation with Paige and completely forgets about her car.
About how much she's going to miss Chris, which, yeah, okay, sure you are. Like, it would have been so easy to just back up.
So the doorbell rings. Phoebe says, oh no, I forgot to move my car. But it's Sheila at the door, fake crying, so she still doesn't move her car.
Why did they ask this actress to fake cry so much? She's so bad at it.
Okay, for those who don't remember, Sheila is Daryl's wife.
Yeah, who's suddenly decided to become a character this season.
Yeah. And she's talking about how Daryl's acting weird, and he has an arrest warrant for Chris, and when she asked if he was going to make it disappear, he got all mad at her and was like, fuck the sisters, I hate them. And Sheila is acting so weird in this scene that I was like, wait, is she a demon? Is she a demon disguised as Sheila there to, like, sow discord between the sisters and Daryl?
This woman has run to the sisters sobbing because her husband was like, I'm going to actually do my job and arrest someone who stole a Porsche that one time, which I think is what Chris's arrest warrant is for.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, I...
Why are you this upset? Why are you this invested in Chris? And how are you this invested in Chris and yet not aware of the fact that he's going to go back to the future? Also, is the name that they have for Chris with the police Chris Halliwell or Chris Perry, which was the fake last name he was using? Also, aren't they suspicious of the fact that he theoretically has no records or anything?
Okay, so I can only answer one of those questions.
Yes.
It must be Chris Halliwell, because later on in this episode, they say when they come looking for Chris, they're going to find a baby.
Okay. I feel like that just raises further questions. Why? There would be so... I mean,
Here's the thing.
also, I'm pretty sure Daryl already got the charges against Chris dropped for the Porsche thing, but...
I feel like, in reality, this just would disappear, because the cops aren't going to look very hard for Chris. It's not a priority for them.
A guy who unsuccessfully tried to drive away with a Porsche.
When he doesn't, like, walk past the station, they're going to be like, whatever. And that's going to be the end of it. They're going to... Yeah, that's going to be the end of it. I was going to say they're going to tell the Porsche guy to file an insurance claim, but like you said, they didn't even successfully steal the Porsche. This is literally nothing. But I do think that Daryl is pursuing it because he's mad at the sisters. Like, it's not even Daryl could make this disappear. It's Daryl is making this a big deal because he's mad at the sisters.
Also, Chris is going... Like, they spend a lot of this episode sweating this. Chris is going back to the future in, like, an hour. And in that hour that he's, waiting to go back to the future... He's in a magic school that exists outside of reality. Like, why are they concerned that Daryl wants to arrest him? It could not possibly matter less.
Well, because when he shows up looking for Chris and they can't find Chris, he's gonna out the sisters as witches.
Oh yeah, and that and Inspector Sheridan is on their case. Remember her?
Yeah.
Inspector Sheridan. Also, Drew Fuller has kind of... I can't tell if it's an unflattering haircut or if he's just wearing his hair in an unflattering way, but it does not look great this episode.
Yeah, he got it cut. He got it cut a little too short.
Yeah.
He looks like Dustin from the comic strip, from the newspaper comic strip Dustin.
Oh. I enjoy Dustin on my own terms.
By which you mean...
I do.
Photoshopping out the punchlines and replacing them with penis jokes.
Yes, that is what I do on the internet. I work incredibly blue on my Blue Sky, and quite a few other places. So, Leo wants to go forward in time with Chris to make sure that everything's okay, and Chris is like, yeah, that's great. Can we talk about whether you and Mom are together or not? Because I'm about to go back to the future, and I want to know if I'm going back to a broken home or...
Okay, Leo can't possibly answer that question. He can say what he plans to do this afternoon, but he can't tell you what's going to unfold in the next 20 years of their relationship.
Yeah, I mean, they do kind of break up a lot, sort of, and then just kind of wind up going back together, sort of.
Yeah.
I mean... I think it's fair to assume that Leo and Piper will be in the same ambiguously married state they spend, I'm going to say, the rest of the show in, because the show does kind of treat it like they're still married, even though...
Well, Leo says they can't be together because he's an elder now.
And Chris points out, who the fuck cares? Since when do we pretend that the rules mean anything in this show? Oh, elders aren't allowed to be with witches? Well, neither were fucking white lighters and you two got together. Like, I'm vaguely paraphrasing, but that is more or less exactly what Chris says. And Leo's like, let's get you back to the future, huh, buddy? So we can not have this conversation anymore?
Yeah, this is strange because they're waiting for the sisters to come before they use the potion to open the portal. But they have extra potions, so they're like, well, while we wait for the sisters to get here, let's just see if it works.
Okay.
I mean, if it works,
why not just leave it, I guess, so that he can come back and say goodbye?
Yeah.
But Leo, slow motion, throws the potion into the wall, and it doesn't do anything. And there's a very little bit of acting I like that Drew Fuller is doing a lot in this scene, where he's mirroring Leo's body language, which is such a good visual shorthand for how the two of them are getting together now. Like, it is such a nice little piece of acting.
Yeah, they both cross their arms in an identical way. Okay. The way that this portal is supposed to work is that Chris has drawn a triquetra on the wall with chalk.
Super crudely.
She drew it with chalk. I mean, give him a break.
Yeah, no, but it's
on
just
plaster.
Yes, it's just on TV shows you don't expect stuff to look as crappy as it looks in real life. You'd think that they use stencils or something, but
nope,
yeah.
Realism.
Yeah, this is where Charm just decided to be realistic. The crappy triquetra drawn on the wall.
So, when Leo threw the potion, it's supposed to hit the triquetra and, open the portal. we know from what's about to happen that Gideon, thwarted the attempt by making himself invisible and standing in front of the potion to stop it from hitting the Triquetra. But it should be obvious to them that it didn't hit where it was supposed to hit.
Yeah, like there's no potion residue on the wall at all.
It didn't hit the wall. It hit and shattered the air.
Yeah, come on. So Gideon takes off his fucking invisibility cloak. I'm sorry, really?
Mm-hmm.
Really? He takes off his invisibility cloak and he runs sobbing to the mirror. And
well, apparently Gideon and Mirror Gideon have the ability to heal each other. And Gideon was stopping the potion here in our world, while simultaneously evil Mirror Gideon was stopping it in his world. So they both have the same hand that's been cut up by the glass of the bottle.
Okay, so evil Mirror Gideon, to be clear, is like a Darklighter elder. Why would he have healing powers?
I don't think he has healing powers. I think that something about them being doubles lets them heal each other.
I guess I could see that, like a life energy thing.
Yeah.
It makes dumb bullshit magical sense.
You know what doesn't make sense?
What?
So, our Gideon is worried that Wyatt has so much power that it can't help but turn him evil. And evil Gideon is worried that his Wyatt has so much power that it can't help but turn him good. Which to me says, stop fucking around and it'll be fine. And that's when I put in my notes, because I just read the book Ninth House, which is about secret societies at Yale. And one of it's a fictional book about them, not like a,
because they are a real thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
but one of the things they say in that book is that demons are not smart; they are cunning. And I was like, yes, Gideon, not smart. He is cunning, because it's real stupid right now.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of Gideon being stupid, like, can we unpack what's going on in this episode?
Yeah.
Okay, so Chris needs to get back. Piper is very close to going into labor. The two alternate plans, as you said, are using the potion or using a power of 3 spell.
Because I guess if both Chris's are around at the same time, the universe will implode.
No. This whole rigmarole, pushing them through the port, everything that's going to happen in this episode, the whole point of that is to set up a situation where they have to use a power of 3 spell to fix it, so that Piper will be distracted so that he can kill Wyatt.
Hey, you know what would probably distract Piper? Giving birth to a fucking baby.
But Leo needs to be out of the picture too.
Yeah, well, tell Leo to be with his goddamn wife for once.
So, yeah, I mean, the point is, there's a lot of unnecessary steps here.
But, I mean, the reason that everyone's so hep about getting Chris back to the future now is because they need to get him out of the universe before baby Chris is born.
Right.
For some reason.
But, like, Gideon's whole deal is just to get to a situation where Piper is distracted and Leo is off the board so that he can kill Wyatt. And I feel like they've been fighting demons for months and months. There should have been at least one situation. Especially with Wyatt being here at magic school.
Seriously, you couldn't check him out of magic kindergarten or whatever?
Honestly, if you, the headmaster of magic school, could not come up with an opportunity to be alone with Wyatt long enough to kill him, a literal baby, you do not deserve to be an elder. You're just not qualified.
Okay, if I could deconstruct this for a little second.
Oh, please do.
And maybe do a little Monday morning quarterbacking.
What? On our podcast?
Okay. I think the threat of Wyatt should not be that he's so powerful that he's going to inevitably turn whatever the opposite of the morality that we're going for here is. I think that the threat of Wyatt should be that he's a threat to the established system both of these Gideons are very invested in, much like the Avatars will be later. He is a threat to good and evil because he is an incredibly powerful force that exists outside of those two parameters.
That makes more sense.
Which also, again, probably would have worked better with the whole Phoebe Cole baby thing. But I feel like there's a lot of stuff, especially with the Avatars later, that was just kind of recycled from Cole. And I feel like a lot of the Wyatt is a super special baby thing does come from the fact that he should have been the child of the Source and a Charmed One.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Not letting the child of the Source and the Charmed one live, that's a plot I believe. Oh well.
Because again, Paige is half White Lighter and half Witch, and it's not like she's super powerful.
I mean, Wyatt is super powerful.
Yeah, he is, but there's not really a good reason for it. I guess because Piper's a Charmed One, but like, again, Omnipotence would have made more sense with Charmed One and Source of All Evil.
Well, it would have made sense because this show has such a weird idea of what morality is, which I'm going to dissect in like 3 scenes from now. That the idea that they can't assign a morality to the child of the Source and a Charmed One, that is what could throw the system out of whack.
And again, good idea, not great execution. It's what we see with the Avatars. The Avatars are dangerous because they have a huge amount of magical power, but they exist outside of the currently established magical system.
Mm-hmm.
The Elders are cool with demons. We know how much they work with the forces of evil because this is a system that requires checks and balances, apparently.
Honestly, that's something fascinating to dig into.
But no, we have to yell at Daryl for trying to arrest Chris. Gideon, blah, blah, blahs with his evil self, and then Leo comes in. Leo's like, I guess we need that spell that you were writing after all. Did I hear an echo in here? And Gideon's like, no, shut up, get out of my office.
The acoustics are just terrible in here.
So, Paige and Phoebe are trying to talk Daryl into not arresting Chris. And Daryl's like, hey, remember earlier this season when you killed me twice?
The thing is, he's not even really upset about that. He's more upset about, like, having to face down that tribunal.
Well, yeah, he died. Well, he died in that episode, too.
Oh, yeah, I guess he did. Yeah. Oh, right.
They've killed him twice this season. And they're like, Daryl, I don't understand why you're mad at us. Why aren't you going to help Chris? And Daryl's like, I've got a family. And Inspector Sheridan, who walks in... Half of what this lady does is just walk into scenes dramatically. And
Inspector Sheridan is just the embodiment of, oh no, she's behind me, isn't she?
It's the only thing this character ever does. And Paige is like, oh boy, she's trouble. At least Chris won't have to deal with her in the future. Which, why wouldn't he? Are you planning on killing her?
She's only like 30.
Yeah.
He's not going to, like, the distant future. He's going, like, 12 years. He's going,
Chris
like,
is 12,
he's
right?
He's going, like, 20 years into the future. Anyway, over at the Triquatri, while they're getting ready for the spell, Piper discovers that Leo is going to go with Chris because, according to him, last time Chris tried to time travel, he almost got eaten by a dinosaur, so...
He says, Chris, last time you tried to time travel, you were almost dinosaur chow. Which, oh my god, someone got paid to write that.
Piper's upset because she's like, what if you're in the future when I go into labor and you're not here? And I'm like, Piper, it's time travel. You will literally not know he's been gone. He will be right back.
I don't know. I don't think that's how time travel works in Charmed. I think all time is moving simultaneously or something.
No, you're right. We did talk about that. Time is moving simultaneously. Yeah. No, that's... Yeah. Your personal time moves forward. Yeah. Yeah.
So Phoebe and Paige come in and they're like, Chris, you're still wanted for that crime you did, but don't worry about it. And Chris is like, why would I worry about it? I'm going back to the future.
I mean, he is worried that Daryl's going to come arrest them. And Phoebe's like, well, if we're in jail in the future, just break us out.
Also, arrest them for what? Knowing a guy?
Not knowing where a guy is.
Helping a baby steal a car because Chris Halliwell's going to be a baby.
I was more caught up on, Phoebe, you're willing to wait 20 years in prison for Chris to get you out?
She doesn't have her active powers anymore. All right, she can still do the rhyming stuff though.
I mean, honestly, it really doesn't matter because even if they did get arrested, then Paige could just orb them away.
Yeah.
Paige could orb them to a non-extradition country and they could just chill for a while.
So, Leo is going to go to the future with Chris.
I do like this. Chris turns to Baby Wyatt and says, "Be good."
So the sisters read the spell.
The spell that Gideon wrote, by the way.
Yeah, Gideon notes that, Gideon's like, oh, by the way, I changed a whole bunch of it, and Phoebe's like, huh? But no one, follows up on that at all. And it's definitely I'm going to send you to a different dimension spell. Because it's like, I'm going to throw you across time and space, get the fuck out of my dimension, bro.
I'll see you in a different place.
Yes.
Yeah, because it rhymes.
Yes,
it's a spell.
Place, space. So, Leo and Chris teleport to Evil World. And then Evil Chris and Evil Leo teleport to our world.
So, now, in most fiction, we designate evil by having them dressed, in BDSM gear.
Mm.
But in this universe, of the universe of Charmed, they do dress in black and dark colors, but also apparently being evil means you have to have ridiculous hair.
Yeah, okay. Chris isn't that bad. Chris's look is fine. He's like a scene kid. He's got the whole, he's wearing a red t-shirt with a black long sleeve shirt underneath it and, leather cuffs. You've seen this guy at a Hot Topic working or as a customer. He's got a little eyebrow piercing.
I mean, what bothers me about it is that they've given him, this kind of long, shaggy hair, and those are some stringy-ass extensions.
Well, evil. But
just
Leo...
because you're evil doesn't mean you can't condition.
But, God, speaking of, Leo
is... Oh my God, Leo.
Okay, Leo looks like a present-day Backstreet Boy.
Leo looks like a hedgehog.
Yeah, he has teased his hair into these little spiky points that are going out in all directions. What was the thought process?
Got a bunch of tiny little hair spikes on his head.
What was the thought process there? What were they thinking? It looks insane. It looks like he's in a pop punk band. But he's been aged horribly.
Exactly.
He looks like a member of a pop punk band who went to the beach that makes you old. From that movie about the beach that makes you old.
The beach?
Yes. That makes you old. Remember when that was a thing that
I do.
Did anyone actually see the movie, or was it just all in the premise?
I think it was all in the premise.
I just remember that Devil Wears Prada thing where it had the old Anne Hathaway. And it's like, did you go to the beach that makes you old?
Yes. Okay, I do have to say, though, that evil Phoebe's, faux hawk is hot. It's a good look.
I mean, it's the one place they actually kind of tried at all. So, yeah, the evil Leo and evil Chris are in non-evil world.
Yeah, our world.
Our world. And they immediately attack the Charmed Ones and Gideon and then dorb out. Chris pulls a Darklighter bow, and he tries to Darklighter them. And I love it. I love it so much. Piper freezes the crossbow bolt and then slaps it out of the air, and she's like, what do you think you're doing? Which is fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, Phoebe runs up to her and is like, calm down, Piper, breathe. You don't want to go into early labor. And is basically acting like Piper is being hysterical, and she's acting totally normal. And honestly, if that's how people have been responding to her for the last week, no wonder she's being so mean to everyone.
So, Phoebe's like, what the fuck was that? And Gideon's like, I guess we accidentally opened up a portal, not to another time, but to another world. A parallel world. One where good and evil are reversed. He says one that's the exact reverse of ours, which it's not. If it was the exact reverse of yours, then all of you would be dead. And
okay.
and the and dinosaurs or something would have come through, because dinosaurs would have been the primary, like, life form, or like if it was the opposite, more things would be different than just your morality.
Okay, I'm going to talk about this now.
Okay.
Okay. Well, first of all, Gideon's like, oh, we must have made a mistake. And it's like, we, Gideon?
You wrote the spell.
Nobody calls him on that. Oh, to be a white man. Okay. Also, he explains that to maintain the balance, every universe has an opposite universe where when someone does something good in this universe, their mirror twin does the evil thing in the other universe. And you just said, like, everything would have to be the same except morality. And that's when I said earlier I was going to talk about morality in a minute.
Yeah.
That's part of this show's weird understanding of what morality is, right? Because Phoebe would not be the exact same person, except she makes an evil choice. Well,
she runs
Phoebe
an evil advice column.
Phoebe was a terrible example of that, but you know what I mean. And
was Paige an anti-social worker?
Right? And the thing is, we know that they do identical things, right? They say the same things, they do the same things. Like,
perfectly symmetrical fighting never solves anything.
Right, we're going to get that scene later, which, by the way, I love that scene. But I'm watching this and I'm like, well, then what's free will? Right? The implications for free will are horrifying.
I'm sorry, I feel like the bigger problem is that this kind of just paints good and evil as aesthetics, because if you have completely opposite morals, but you're constantly doing the same things, and the universe is exactly the same, except people act a little bit differently, then there's no inherent difference between good and evil, right?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And Gideon says that it has to be this way because there has to be a balance. And I'm like, okay, well then why do anything? And this is a super deep cut.
Yes.
But it reminded me of a quote from the movie The Tao of Steve.
That is a super deep cut.
You've never heard of that movie?
I've never heard of that movie.
It's basically just about this guy who's a stoner, and he has like his stoner philosophy.
Okay.
And one of his lines is, doing stuff is overrated. Hitler did stuff, and don't we all just wish he'd stayed home and gotten high instead? Like, why are we doing anything if in another universe our exact opposite twin is doing the opposite thing to maintain balance? Why do anything then?
Except they're not doing the opposite thing. The opposite thing would have been Piper not hooking up with Leo twice and having 2 babies.
No, but she hooked up evilly.
Yeah, no, so they're not doing the opposite. They're doing the same thing, but with different aesthetics.
Right, so basically, in the world of Charmed, the difference between good and evil is how you style your hair.
Because I would put forth that in a universe where evil won all the time, the charmed ones should lose. The charmed ones, it shouldn't be that the charmed ones were evil. It should be that the charmed ones are, like, dead. Like, I just, and I'm aware this is a thing in other fictional things, like in DC, the Earth where everyone is evil. It's like evil Batman runs the evil Justice League. Like,
okay, well now I'm gonna Now I'm gonna get super ahead of ourselves.
Although Owlman is technically Thomas Wayne Jr. and not Bruce Wayne, but sorry, go on.
I'm gonna get super ahead of ourselves now.
Yes.
In a little bit, they're gonna go visit Evil Universe's Barbas, who is the demon of hope as opposed to the demon of fear, right?
Fantastic, love it.
He inspires people's hopes in them. So he shows up and he makes you feel your greatest hope, and somehow that makes the Evil Universe people weaker. Them having a hope about something makes them weaker.
I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious that he's not a very effective person. I think his biggest strength is much like our Barbas, that it's really hard to kill him.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, our Barbas has a better gimmick, but like, he shows up and he's like, "You should feel better about yourselves," and then they vanquish him, and then he comes back later.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is seriously like in The Good Place where the demons are like, "Ooh, turn on hangovers. I like to feel hangovers." Like, no, what? No. But at least in The Good Place, they're commenting on that and not just being like, "Yeah, that's what demons are, right?"
So Piper and Phoebe, and I guess Paige also, need the concept of the evil world explained to them multiple times, which I would mock them for, except it's a stupid idea.
Which doesn't really make a lot of sense.
So Gideon is going to send Gideon is going to send Paige and Phoebe into the mirror universe to get Chris and Leo, because if they're in there too long, then...
It'll throw off the balance.
Except why would it? Because evil Chris and evil Leo are here. Shouldn't they still be balanced?
Right?
I mean, I know he's got his own thing going on. But...
Right. But then he tells them that evil Gideon will be coming to the same conclusion and will be sending evil versions to this mirror to get evil Leo and evil Chris, and we'll all meet back here at the mirror. I mean, not at the mirror, at the Triquetra, because he hasn't revealed that he has a mirror.
So evil Chris and evil Leo are on top of the non-evil Golden Gate Bridge. And evil Chris is like, "I can't believe liquor stores are closed in the morning. It's so disgustingly good."
Can we talk about how little the show is trying right now with the green screen effect?
Oh my god.
Because it's not even a video of the it's not even a video of the
it's a picture.
It's a picture. Like, the water is not moving.
Yeah. Yeah, they are standing in front of a still picture of the Golden Gate Bridge. Oh my god.
So after Chris finishes his beer that he broke into the liquor store to get because the liquor store's not open in the mornings, he drops it onto the road of the bridge and causes a bunch of car accidents. We hear a bunch of tires squealing, and he's like, "Ah, this is fun."
He tells Leo that this reminds him of the world he grew up in, where Wyatt was good and turned the world to good, and so everything was clean and liquor stores opened later, I guess. And evil Leo's like, "Evil son, I evil love you for coming back in time and turning my other son evil." And evil Chris is like, "I evil love you, evil dad. But we can't trust these witches to help us get back to our home universe. They're too good," which...
I was wondering if the fact that evil Leo is proud of evil Chris for coming back means that our Leo is ashamed that Chris came back.
No, because remember, they're exactly the same except for how they dress.
Oh, God.
And their attitudes a little bit. Because good Leo was telling good Chris earlier how proud he was of coming back to, make Wyatt good. They're exactly the same.
Oh, you know what? I said earlier that Phoebe and Paige were going to go through the mirror and find Leo and Chris. No, sorry. They're going to find evil Leo and Chris and assume that their counterparts are finding good Leo and Chris. And then everyone's meeting up at the Triquetra.
Yeah, Phoebe's having a hard time finding evil Leo and evil Chris because they're not doing anything evil right now. And I'm like, why are you trying to track them through evil and not through Chris and Leo?
Also, if you're scrying for, evil, I feel like you should be getting at least one hit.
Well, speaking of getting hits, they're beating the shit out of Daryl
Oh my god.
No reason. Okay. So, Daryl isn't reacting so mildly. He's like, "What's gotten into you, Chris? You are in serious trouble, young man, for beating the shit out of me."
Well, okay, so it's so funny because this is the thing we complain about on Charmed all the time, and this is the one time it's not the case. He's like, "You know what, Chris? I don't even care if you're possessed. You're totally going to jail over this. Obviously, there's some sort of demonic control happening, but whatever. I'm still gonna arrest you."
He pulls his gun on Chris, and Chris gets ready to shoot him. Chris dorbs it out of his hand, which I want to point out is not one of Chris's powers. Chris is just a regular-ass telekinetic. He doesn't have Paige's, orbing thing.
Mm-hmm.
Object orbing thing. So, weird, but I guess the Dark Lighter threw him off more than being half White Lighter.
I guess.
Or they forgot that Chris is just a regular ass telekinetic.
Who knows?
It's so late in the season to be making errors like that, but
Anyway, the sisters show up, and Daryl's like, This is why I'm not helping you anymore! Because of all this bullshit!
the girls Crystal Cage, Evil Leo, and Evil Chris, and they go over to help Daryl, and Daryl's like, please stop getting involved in my life. I have, like, a family and people who will miss me if I die again for the third time.
Phoebe's like, oh man, I really think it's going to be hard to convince Daryl to help us now.
So Gideon is talking to Evil Gideon about, blah, 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 good Chris, bad Chris, Evil Leo, good Leo. They're distracting the sisters, which will keep the attention off Wyatt for long enough for Evil.
Seriously, the sisters were so distracted this season by so many things. You could have done this so easily.
So many times.
Oh,
so many times. You could have done this when Piper and Leo were trapped in that alternate dimension. Remember that? When they conceived Chris?
Yeah.
But yeah, this whole scene is basically just Gideon explaining his own plan to himself. The one person who should already know it. Also, he's playing chess with himself, and he destroys it, and evil Gideon destroys a piece, and good Gideon destroys a piece, and then they look like they're going to make out, but they don't.
I do like the effect they're doing where they're using magic to move the pieces around, and the pieces are obliterating, other pieces when they take them. I do like that.
Evil Gideon reminds good Gideon that the sisters can't discover,
As you know, good Gideon.
Yes. They need to distract the sisters. Gideon needs to get them into evil world so that he'll have freer reign, because I guess they assume it'll be easier to kill good Wyatt.
No, they're both going to simultaneously kill their Wyatts.
Okay, then why are they only sending the good copies to the evil universe?
Oh, no, I think evil Gideon betrayed good Gideon by not following the plan.
Okay, but they still seem pretty on track with the plan.
Oh, you're right.
No, I think the point was to get the good sisters into the evil universe.
Oh, so that they would get into the fight they got into.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. This is an overly complicated plan.
You could have done nothing. You could have done nothing, and the sisters would have got bored and started chasing yarn or something.
I mean, really, I think we need to not worry about what Gideon's motivations are and just, enjoy the evil twinness of it.
Yeah. So they open the portal to the alternate dimension. Phoebe and Paige go through. They're in evil magic school, which is like regular magic school, except there are, axes everywhere. And evil Gideon throws an energy ball at them, and then he's like, oh, you need to find your Chris and your Leo and get them out of our dimension before the morality something collapses. And they're like, why did you throw an energy ball at us? And he's like, force of habit.
You startled
evil.
me.
Meanwhile, good Piper is starting to go into labor, probably.
Yeah.
Gideon's like, now, we wouldn't want you to go into premature labor by 2 days. By 2 days, come on.
I know. I
want to point out Wyatt was 2 weeks early.
I want to point out that they keep showing baby Wyatt side-eyeing everything that's happening. He keeps, jimming the camera, and it's hilarious.
So, yeah, evil Gideon is explaining that blah, 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 they need to get... And they're like, are you going to try to kill us again? He's like, if I wanted to kill you, you'd be dead. And they're like, it seemed like you tried to kill us with the energy ball thing. And he's like...
I said it earlier. If you only have enough plot for one episode, you don't need to stretch it over two.
Yeah.
It feels like they re-explain things a lot in this episode.
Yeah, there's a lot of restating stuff that literally just happened. Which Paige points out. Paige is like, this whole thing doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And evil Gideon's like, that's because the balance has been thrown off because evil is in good world and good world is full of evil now and something.
Well, Paige is like, I can't think about this too hard. It hurts my head. Also, like, if we do the same thing at the same time, why aren't our evil counterparts here about to go into the good world? Like, doesn't make any sense. And she's like, I can't think about it too hard. And I just think of the Austin Powers, the sequel, when they're talking about time travel. And he's like, and he looks right at the camera and he's like, don't you think about it too hard either.
So,
This is not a conceit that rewards thinking about it too hard.
So they're like, hey, look, we're just going to we're going to find our Chris and Leo, and then we're going to use your Piper to use the power of 3 to open the portal. And Gideon's like, well, our Piper's an evil monster who destroys all who look at her. And they're like, yes, so's ours, whatever. Which is mean but not inaccurate. So Gideon tells them, look, you know how Chris and Leo think? Just, find them, get them back, and avoid your counterparts because they're going to super murder you if they find you. Okay, so are there Darklighter elders? Is that a thing?
There must be.
Or is he just like a demon?
No, I think there must be Darklighter elders. It would only make sense.
Mm. So this is the evil world, which you can tell by it looking like actual San Francisco.
There are like rats everywhere. Okay, they look up at their house and they're like, oh, that looks evil. I definitely don't want to go in there. But since this is an actual street that they, use for their exterior shots, and they've put a lot of like trash on the street and they put a lot of like busted up cars on the street, but the house looks exactly the same.
It really does. You could have strewn some skeletons out front or something.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, this guy walking a dog comes past them and the dog barks at them, and I'm like, yes. In Evil World, all dogs are Rottweilers.
A taxi cab with an ad for Evil Ask Phoebe. Ask Phoebe or else. Drives past, so she gives Evil advice.
She gives Evil advice.
So the evil neighbor...
Wait. First, Paige realizes that her phone works in the evil universe, so I guess evil cell phone towers are just cell phone towers?
Not only does it work, it can contact the good universe.
Huh. That's weird.
So the same situation from earlier plays out, except more evil. So
yeah, in this universe, cops keep their shirts unbuttoned.
Yes, the neighbor lady is like, hey, I bribed you to ticket Phoebe Halliwell. And he's like, oh yeah? Well, you didn't bribe me enough. And he shoves her. And then Phoebe's like, hey, what's going on here? And they both run away screaming from her.
She does like a cartoonish, puts her hands in the air and is like, ah, and runs away.
Yeah. The evil neighbor lady is just wearing a black version of the outfit she was wearing earlier because evil. And I'm pretty sure she was wearing red earlier, so yeah, lateral move. But we cut to Evil P3, which is a strip club.
Okay, so I was saying when we watched this episode, Evil P3 should be a restaurant, but it turns out that Piper always wanted to run a club, and she opened a restaurant instead.
Yes.
Also, there are strippers on stage, which is right and proper, that you expect to see strippers there. But there are also strippers behind the bar, which seems both inefficient and probably against health code. Well, I guess evil health code.
Yeah.
Right, okay, never mind, retracted.
Also, they're all wearing underwear because TV.
Oh yeah, I mean, these are the most dressed strippers of all time.
These are the most can't dance strippers of all times. There's this blonde lady who's doing like the hurdy-gurdy in her underwear on the stage. It's very embarrassing. So Daryl's like a crime boss or whatever, and he's got a fully clothed woman strip grinding on him. I guess she's supposed to be a stripper.
She's doing a lap dance.
Yeah. She's doing a lap dance, and Phoebe and Paige are like, hey, Daryl, what would Sheila think of this? And Daryl's like, why are you assuming I'm married in this universe?
Okay, so two different things right now.
Yes.
One, I was really hoping that Sheila would just be there at the strip club and be like, yeah, whatever.
He should have pointed to her.
But also, what he says is, who's Sheila? And earlier in the episode when he was telling them that he was going to arrest Chris anyway, and he asked Phoebe, you know, have you seen Chris? And she says, who's Chris? Like, letting him know she's not going to help him. Which makes me think the same exchange happened here. And he's, like, sarcastically repeating her back to her. Who's Sheila? Which I actually think is a pretty complicated, interesting piece of writing, if intentional.
So we're assuming not?
No, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Also, again, so everything just happens exactly the same in both universes.
Well, we know it does.
Yeah.
We know that it literally happens the same.
Yeah. So, shouldn't he be more afraid of the sisters? Like, Phoebe has to threaten him with a bottle to get him to talk about, you know...
Well, because in this universe, Daryl has also said he's not going to work with them anymore.
Oh my god. Shouldn't he be more scared of them? I'm assuming they killed him the same amount that they did in the real world.
But he's evil, so he liked it? I don't know. Oh, he does point out, by the way, that they're wearing pastel-colored clothing, and he asks if they've been undercover in the underworld. If that's why they're dressed like that.
Okay. And he's like, you need to get away from me. Evil Inspector Sheridan has her eye on me. And it smash cuts to a dancer who I think is supposed to be Inspector Sheridan. If not, I have no idea why they cut to this dancer.
It was a weird piece of editing.
Yeah. I think the dancer's supposed to be Inspector Sheridan, who's, I guess, a stripper and watching him. Or maybe it was just this weird cut to a stripper who was staring at them for no reason.
I think it was just a confusing cut, honestly. So, the sisters realize that since they're in evil world, they need to go find a demon because demons will be good!
They're like, okay, since we're in evil world, clearly Chris and Leo would have sought out the biggest source of good, which would have been our greatest enemy, Barbas. And oh my god, I love you, hippie demon Barbas.
Oh my god, he's got his shoulders all hunched up in a weird way, which is like, this is how Billy Drago thinks good people stand.
Well, I love this because he's doing all of the weird Barbas movements, but it's very recontextualized by his hope stuff. Because Barbas does a lot of prayer hands and, like, bowed head stuff. I love Barbas as the demon of hope. And he kind of points out, he's like, look, you always have to look on the bright side of life, because if you don't, that's the way evil wins. And that's why the sisters, as evil as they are in this universe, can never kill me. Because hope springs eternal, and, you know, there always has to be hope. And Leo's like, so you're going to give us any, like...
actual help?
Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to read your hopes. And I love Chris smacks his hand away, and he's like, don't touch me.
So Phoebe and Paige find him, you know, find Leo and Chris here, as they knew they would be. And Barbas is like, orb away, I'll protect you. And they're like, no, these are good sisters. But because they mirror each other, now the evil versions have shown up as well.
So Piper's in labor at magic school, and the kindergarten teacher is helping her out, because I guess they don't have a school nurse.
Well, I guess she knows how to do Lamaze breathing, because that's what she's helping her do.
She teaches kindergarten, I guess that makes sense.
I mean, she could also just know that.
Mm.
She could also have, like, had a child.
Yes. She says that Piper needs to go to a hospital, which... how is there not a magical midwife here or something like that?
There really should be.
Like, I know it's a school for children or whatever, but like...
but there should be a magical version of a midwife that they call in. They shouldn't be relying on a hospital.
Yeah.
But, of course, Piper's like, oh, Gideon, can you take care of Wyatt for me?
Oh, my...
Anyway, back in evil world, the sisters are about to face off. And Phoebe has a pair of brass knuckles that she says she got at Tiffany's. And
evil Tiffany's.
okay, so Paige says, "Oh, what a waste of a little blue box." And I put in my notes, "No, Paige, it's from Evil Tiffany's. Obviously, they have little orange boxes." They don't say that, but I wish they did.
So, this fight is entirely pointless, which everyone is aware of.
I'm sorry, it's not pointless. The point is, it's hilarious and I love it.
Yes. Because Paige points out, she's like, so we're just here to get our Chris and Leo, so we're going to do that, and then we'll get you your Chris and Leo. And Evil Paige is like, how could we trust you? You're good. And Paige is like, because we're good. What?
But then they kind of confab with each other apart, right? And the good sisters are like, oh, we can't trust them, they're evil. And the evil sisters are like, oh, we can't trust them, they're good. And they're both like, ooh, let's orb behind them and catch them unawares. And then they simultaneously orb. And apparently, orbs can crash into each other, which is what happens. And then they're like, oh, you take your counterpart and I'll take my counterpart. Which is a terrible idea.
Yeah, you need to take each other.
But then, yes, as you said earlier, and as I wrote in my notes, perfectly synchronized fighting won't get us anywhere.
Symmetrical.
Oh, I wrote synchronized, but you're right, symmetrical. That is what happens.
It's fantastic. Double fight. There's this great head-to-head moment between Evil Phoebe and Phoebe.
I really like the stuff that's going on with Paige, where they're like orbing rocks into their hands simultaneously. They're both like, rock! And then they throw it at each other, but they just crash into each other.
Well, it starts with Evil Paige shooting Darklighter bolts at Paige, and Paige just orbiting them to the ground before they start orbiting and doorbing giant rocks at each other.
Oh.
There's a great bit, because the rocks explode every time they hit each other, and Chris and Leo have to run in slow motion and to dive out of the way of the rock explosion. Chris, did you forget that you have powers? You're telekinetic. Also, did Evil Phoebe lose her powers for being too selfish, and that's why she's not using levitation or evil empathy?
Yes, that is what's happening. While they're in this fight, Chris mentions Gideon, and Barbas is like, oh, Gideon, I've read his hopes. He hopes that Wyatt dies.
Wah wah.
Yup.
So, like, good Barbas was the spanner in the works the whole time for Gideon's plans.
Yeah.
Because they would not have known that if it wasn't for... You know what? Our Barbas knew that too. He just didn't tell anyone. No one asked Evil Barbas. He could have told them the same thing.
Right.
Because
he said it to Barbas in the Tribulation episode. In the Tribunal episode, he knew that was his fear, was that Wyatt would
turn evil.
Yeah. Just like Barbas knows that his hope is that he'll kill a little baby.
Opposite moralities, yet everything is the same.
Because, as you said, honestly, you summed it up perfectly. Morality is just an aesthetic.
So, Paige and Evil Paige both get calls on their cell phones. Paige's green cell phone and Evil Paige's red cell phone.
Yes. They get yelled at in stereo by Piper and Evil Piper.
Who are both going into labor.
And I like Evil Phoebe and Good Phoebe look up simultaneously and are like, what's going on?
So, Gideon is enchanting a knife with the Book of Shadows, which I guess he is technically good, even though he's just trying to kill a baby. So he can use the Book of Shadows to enchant the knife to cut through Wyatt's force field.
Also, if you can enchant a knife to cut through Wyatt's force field, it feels like a cheat. It doesn't feel like you should be able to do that.
He is using the Book of Shadows.
All right. Allowed. I'll allow it.
Although I feel like the Book of Shadows, should probably ding him as evil for that.
Yeah, the Book of Shadows should know if you want to use it to hurt a Halliwell and should, prevent you from doing that.
Although, as we have seen before, the book just senses good or evil, so I guess if you think that the action that you're taking is morally pure, it wouldn't ding you for that.
Also, as you said, good and evil is an aesthetic, and that's what it... Really, the book is just like Joan and Melissa Rivers out here looking at your outfit and being like, all right, that's what a good person wears.
He's okay, so he's wearing all black, but he's also wearing a tie, so he can't be that evil.
Okay, so he enchants the knife. He pierces the shield that Wyatt has put up to protect himself, and Wyatt orbs the knife out of his hand and into his shoulder blade.
I want to point out this is the second time Wyatt has stabbed someone this season. He also killed that guy with Excalibur.
I thought you were gonna point out that the elder who's in charge of magic school is being beaten by a baby.
Yeah.
Okay, he then like screams and vanishes, and we see that the thing that made him scream and vanish is that in the evil universe, the sisters came together, all four sisters came together and did a spell on him. It didn't vanquish him though, he just like was hurt enough that he had to leave. But apparently doing that spell on him affected both good him and evil him.
Okay. Also, Wyatt has a stupid... Evil Wyatt has a stupid evil baby outfit. Stupid evil baby outfit. He's wearing all black because he's an evil baby.
Right, yeah.
And he's crying because Gideon tried to murder him. Shouldn't he like that? It's evil world. But Phoebe and evil Phoebe both rush to, help him, and then good Phoebe's like, oh, not my Wyatt, and evil Phoebe looks all smug about being the one to comfort the baby.
Mm-hmm. I do like, though, that good Paige and evil Paige almost instantly start working together really well. They go to draw the triquetra on the wall. They're going to do the spell to open the portal back up. They don't need to find Piper because they have the power of 4.
Huh.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Gideon has run to the mirror, and he and evil Gideon have healed each other of whatever it was that the spell did do.
Yeah. They point out that the world's now very out of balance because too many good people have been in the evil world for too long.
So I don't think it's because good people are in the evil world or vice versa. I think it's that like by piercing the mirror itself, like by transferring to the wrong side of the mirror, that by definition means you're not doing the same thing on both sides of the mirror anymore. And if you're not doing the same thing as on both sides of the mirror, like it's going to get all wobbly, all askew.
Yeah, a big thing next episode is that there needs to be an act of great evil in the too good world to restore balance. Which, okay. Good Gideon's like, because evil Gideon's like, the sisters, no, we're so fucking boned, and Gideon's like, no, we need to hurry up and kill the baby, and then we can just mind wipe the sisters, and everything will be fine.
Okay. Anyway, the good sisters and good Leo and good Chris get back home, and they rescue Wyatt, who didn't really need to be rescued. He orbs that knife right into Gideon. But they pick up Wyatt, and they go outside, and
well, they go to Piper, who they're like, if evil Piper's in labor, then our Piper has to be in labor too. Which
is a weird thing to say because she called.
But whatever. And instead of just orbing to the hospital, they go out to drive to the hospital. And oh my god, it's super sunny, and there's a rainbow, and everyone's waving, and there's an old-timey milkman. Because I guess in the good universe, there'd be an old-timey milkman.
Yeah, and the neighbor is like, Phoebe, I've been waiting for you. And Phoebe's like, yeah, sorry, I'll move my car. And she's like, it's okay. I know you're busy. And then the HOA enforcer comes and shoots her because she broke the law. And everybody's like, it's okay. She broke the law and now she's been shot. All is right with the world.
Okay, so this is supposed to be the super good world. Like, the evil world has gotten more evil and the good world has gotten more good because the balance has been thrown off. But I would argue a world where you're murdered for minor infractions is more evil than our regular world. So
right? Yeah. Also, I think it's interesting, there's a lot of red in this world. Like, there's a lot of red cars, a lot of people wearing red. There's a lot of really bright primary colors instead of the pastels that you would expect to be part of the good aesthetic.
Probably not worth thinking about too much.
Well, no, I think it symbolizes how it's not really like good. It's malicious compliance good.
So yeah, that was the first part of It's a Bad World.
I enjoyed it. I'm ready to watch the next part.
Yeah, I did too. It's not good, but it's fun, which is really what you're looking for in later Charmed.
It's not good. It's bad.
Stupid evil baby.
Should we do our segments?
All right, the first power in our pack is Premonition, who in this episode was, or will become famous. I didn't have anyone.
Okay, so there was nobody like really famous, but I did want to point out specifically for you, Max,
all right,
that the neighbor is an actress named Lorna Scott, who her IMDb is just filled with her playing various Karens. But specifically, she's one of the townsfolk / jurors on the TV show Trial and Error.
Oh,
which I know you really like and agree is a very underrated show.
Yeah, you should watch it if you haven't seen it. The second power in our pack is Time Freeze. What specifically dated this episode?
Okay.
Okay, using technology is hokey, but Paige's wee little flip phone.
Yeah, I actually thought about that when she pulled it out.
Yeah.
But mine is, and it's another technology one, but when, in the very first scene, one of the very first lines of the episode, when Chris is complaining about how bad the time travel section is, he says, I would get better information Googling. And that part isn't the time freeze. The time freeze is Gideon going, Googling?
Yep. Buffy also did that.
Yup.
Hey, took us forever, but a Buffy reference.
Oh, hey! Yeah, so that's my time freeze.
Also, I want to point out when Buffy did an evil world thing, they had an inciting incident which made everything change for evil, and then things were different based off of that inciting incident.
That makes more sense with mirror universes, but this is like literally a mirror universe where everything that happens is a mirror of what happens in our world.
And the final power in our pack is telekinesis. What, if anything, genuinely moved you? Nothing.
Okay, I don't know if I can give the show credit for this.
Yeah.
Like, since becoming a mom, I'm super sensitive to things. And when they went back to the good universe and good baby Wyatt was all alone after Gideon tried to kill him, I did feel a little bit emotional there.
Actually, you know what I'm going to give it to?
What?
I'm going to give it to Chris mirroring Leo's body language in that one scene. Because that was a really subtle, really effective way of establishing their new dynamic.
Yeah, that was good.
So I think that'll about do it.
Yeah, I think that'll do it for this week. Next week's episode is It's a Bad World Part 2. I'm not going to bother with the Peacock description because it's this except more.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what the Peacock description is. I'm just assuming it's this but more.
Chris is born, and in this episode, someone, dies.
Someone will die.
But, yeah, that'll about do it for this week.
Yeah, that'll do it. Our show is partially listener supported. If you want to be one of our supporters, you should head over to our website, www.welcometotelevision.net, and click on our Patreon link. We'd like to thank our current $5 and above patrons, Beryl, Patricia, Rosa, Ryan, Maricruz, Benjamin, Kate, Jen, Dan, Anthony, Daniel, and Hippolyta. If you'd like to support the show in other ways, you could always rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It helps other people find the show. If you want to talk about this episode or any episode of any television show, you can email us at ilovetelevisionzines@gmail.com, or you can find us on Blue Sky at Welcome to Television. So until next time, I'm Max. And I'm Tina. And this has been Welcome to the Halliwell Manor.